Hey everyone, it's Mark Dell'Olio coming back at you live once again in front of my beautiful tapestry right behind me. So, today is the end of week 3. How was week 3 when it came to training on your Coros watch? Where'd it go? It died on my run, on my long run. So I don't know if the long run is actually going to be tracked through Coros, which is going to suck. But this is why I always track with two, count them, two services. The first one I track with, of course, is going to be Coros. Looks like this, right? However, the second one I track with is Strava. If you find me on Strava, I go by the exact same name. So if you find me on Strava, give me a follow. I'll try to follow back. The 23rd, Tuesday, September the 23rd, Tuesday. I did go into the last video that I have been dealing with some BS. Let's just put it bluntly. Throughout the past 2 weeks. And last week, we went over how one of my childhood cats passed away, and then my wife's cat had liver failure. She is still fine. Don't worry. Miss Scully is totally fine. However, I told you that I was leaving you on a cliffhanger. I did, because more happened this week. The first thing that happened was on Wednesday. Yes. So we'll talk about that after I talk about my run. So the run on Tuesday, September the 23rd, was a 5K. And it's called a 5K easy. It was pretty good. 5K easy. And indeed it was easy. And I'm going to keep harping on this point because it keeps annoying me. The speed at which I am supposed to run these runs is the worst part of these runs. I already hate running, and running slowly is like the worst, right? But 5K easy on the Tuesday. And my average pace was, let's pull this up here real quick. It's about 3.5 miles for the Americans in the audience, such as myself. Average pace on this thing was 11:40. I guarantee if I look at Shield Strava, it'll be a lot faster than that. Then I was supposed to do leg strength training. Did not do that. On Wednesday, I was actually supposed to run, and I did not realize I was supposed to run until the next day. So a fun thing about Coros is I have notifications enabled both on the watch and on my phone, and it still didn't remind me. So this would have been my first midweek run. Typically, even on the last running thing I tried, it was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. That was typical. This going into the third week, this is the first time that it has ever been like, oh, you're running on Wednesday as well. And it didn't tell me I was running on Wednesday. And I'm going to be totally honest, I'm not constantly looking at my training schedule because I expect it to keep up with it. So on Wednesday, I did not realize it until, like I said, the Thursday, because I clicked on the training schedule and I looked and I was like, oh, I was supposed to run yesterday too. That's entirely, I don't want to say it's entirely my fault, but I will. So on Wednesday, it was supposed to be a 8K plus 6 strides. We know from my previous 8Ks plus 6 strides that they typically go pretty well. I typically like them quite a bit. What happened on Wednesday, though? Well, when I got home from work on Wednesday, I went up to my bedroom and got changed into some more comfortable clothes and then looked outside my window, and I noticed that there appeared to be on the second story of the house, I noticed that there appeared to be a large bush that had grown to the second story of my house. And so upon further investigation, I realized that a tree from my neighbor's yard had fallen into mine, ripped the siding off of my house, hit my roof, and thankfully it missed the new AC system that we had just put in, which I'm still paying for. So that became a whole insurance debacle, as I'm sure you are aware. But enough about that. We have more to discuss on this week of horrors. On Thursday, it was another easy 5K. So this one was a little goofy because if you look at the tail end of the stats there, I was running a little bit weirdly quick, and then I would stop, and then weirdly quick, and then I would stop. It's because it started to pour down rain. And when I say pour down rain, this was a torrential downpour, okay? I have never run in that amount of rain before. I've run in rain plenty of times, but I've never run in that amount of rain before. So that was pretty crazy. And I get done the run, whatever. hanging out underneath an awning to a local shop. And then I'm like, hey, I'll give my wife a call. I know she's on her way to work. So I give her a call. I was like, did you get stopped by the train? She's like, no, I made it just past the train. Da 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 da. So we're just, yapping. And finally, I'm like, okay, I love you. I'll talk to you later. Okay, I love you too. Bye. She hangs up. I sprint home, and about the last probably half mile, I sprint home, get inside, and immediately take my clothes off, throw them in the washing machine, and then go upstairs to shower. And I say immediately, I had to go up to the bathroom and then like kind of halfway change into clothes in order to do this because my mom was staying with us during that day. I get out of the shower, I put on some clothes, I sit down on the end of the bed to put on my socks, and my phone starts ringing again. And who is it? It's my wife. She's gotten into a serious car accident. Somebody crossed over 3 lanes of traffic and started driving on the wrong side of the road, and so it was a near head-on collision that had hit my wife. And so thankfully, she waited until I at least got some clothes on, so I threw on the rest of my clothes and ran downstairs, looked at my mother, and I said, hey, I gotta go. Sarah just got into an accident, and I left. So I went, I picked her up. Car is a total loss, but thank God she is still fine. She's totally fine. There's, some minor bruises and scrapes and stuff like that, but she's totally fine. Like I said, this week just kept getting worse. Now, it should level out because we're pretty much at rock bottom. So it should level out, hopefully. Knock on some wood for us. So some get well soons in the chat for my wife. Now, yesterday was 6K easy plus 6 strides, and it was a run. It was 5.8 miles in total as far as Coros is concerned. And another thing I really don't like about Coros is if you look at the graph, consult the graph, please. If it notices that you're going like a little bit slower than average, for some reason, it like tanks your speed, like completely tanks your speed. Looking at Strava and comparing it to the Coros things, I'm running this like same speed technically, but I'm always going faster on Strava than I am on Coros. And I don't know which one I should entirely trust, right? It's a little bit frustrating. However, the run was totally fine, came back inside, and yesterday, you're never going to guess what we did with the rest of our day yesterday. We sat down and friggin' relaxed because this past week and a half has been literally some of the worst week and a half that I've ever had in my entire life. Some of the worst days I've ever had in my entire life. So other than that, the week as a whole was not a complete and total loss. I did maintain what I thought was my training schedule. And today, Sunday, I finished it up with the long run. This is a 15K long run. And like I said, I don't know if Coros will track this because it died in the middle of the training schedule or the middle of the run. I guess I had like 2 miles left or something like that. So I had to rely strictly on Strava for the rest of it. Here's the other thing about Coros. Sorry, I will get back into the run. I just did an update about a month ago on the Coros watch. It was a firmware update on the Coros watch. Ever since I have done that update, the watch's battery life has sucked. Like really, really bad. I might make a TikTok out of this because this has been terrible. Previously, even when I've been running, I've only ever had to charge the watch, maybe once a week. Maybe, right? It usually, and I used to brag about how good the battery life was on it. This thing is maybe like a year old at this point. This is not a very old watch. Maybe a year old. I've always bragged about how good the battery life is. I did this firmware update. I'm having to charge it a couple of times per week now. That's how much it is. It's sucking its own battery dead. And I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to have to get into the settings and play around with it a little bit. But this was a 15K long run, so about 9.32 miles. And it was A-okay. I started to pick up the pace at the end of the run because Coros wouldn't yell at me because I was going faster than it wanted me to because it was dead. So aside from that, this whole week, honestly, all of the runs were super good. I don't remember a single run where I was like, wow, this really sucks. I don't want to do this anymore, blah, 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 blah. You know, a little voice in your head and keep on yelling at you. But I don't remember anything like that. So all in all, super solid, super good week. The Coros watch is really frustrating me. Like I said, I don't have it on me, and I cannot find my charger right now. Uh-oh. These next couple of runs might just be on Strava because I don't know where my charger went. I have zero clue. And also, hold on. More of a rant coming. Why is every fitness watch a proprietary charging port? Each one is different. Why are we doing that? Why can it not just be a Type-C that's covered or something like that? Type-C, and you're going to hear me talk about this a lot, Type-C is the best charger, literally of all time. Now, there might be a better one come out in the future, but right now, Type-C is the best. Even Apple acknowledges this. Apple's gone strictly Type-C from now on, which one of the only good things Apple has done in a very, very long time. I don't use Apple, just by the way. I use other phones, Samsungs and whatnot. Don't like Apple. But embracing the Type-C, very, very smart idea on Apple's part. Even cheap gas station vapes that you get have a Type-C charger on them. Why are these? I mean, I spent almost $200 for that watch a couple years ago, or a year ago, I guess. Why does that not have a Type-C? And God forbid there is any form of dirt or lint or anything like that inside of the charging thing, because also, fun fact, there's no cover for the charging port on the watch. There's no cover. Right? That might be because, like, oh, if there's a cover, there might get some liquid underneath of it and then it builds up humidity. I kind of understand that. But every time I go to charge this watch, I have to set it in a very particular way because I don't know. Maybe there's some like body oil on it or something. Anyways, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Coros is a good watch. In my humble opinion, I like it a little bit better than I liked my Garmin. I do have my Garmin over there and it's hanging out over there for a specific reason. The battery died on it. And I don't know what killed the battery. It just woke up one day and it wouldn't turn on, won't charge. The battery just died. It gave me no warning. The battery life didn't immediately like start tanking over time or anything like that. It just one day I went to look at my watch and it was a blank screen. That's it. So when it comes to the Coros, that's something that I've not heard of anybody experiencing, but maybe that's what I'm going to experience because it keeps killing its battery life over time. I don't know. I really don't know. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions about anything I'm doing, like this weekend, I'm free Friday evening. I'm just kidding. So if you guys have any questions about like running or anything like that, I'm not your best person. If you have any questions about post-secondary education, such as university, also not your best person. I'm a drop out of 5 universities, baby. If you have any questions about animals, I'm your guy. Let me know. Aside from that, these after action reports, I'm really enjoying doing them. I don't know if you can tell. My spark is starting to come back a little bit more. So hopefully there will be more videos in the future, not just of this. I do have another big video plan. What did I do with those? Oh yeah, another big video plan. I'm trying to make sure it's not like becoming in focus because this is going to be a really, really fun video when it finally comes out. I'm really excited for it. And yes, I handwrite scripts. Are these scripted? No, absolutely not. Because writing scripts all the time is kind of lame, in my humble opinion. But thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.